I'm going to show you a way that you can find names to work on even when you leave Family Search, I mean. So on Family Search, I went on Family Tree and I went to Tree and I searched around. I found someone who had a Find a Grave already, and I went to her Find a Grave. It's not going to be a surprise if you go to a specific cemetery and find a relative that you might find other relatives. Families often move together, lived by each other. So her maiden name is Curtis and her married name is Broadbent. And I can choose to look for Broadbent or Curtis in that cemetery or in that city or in that county or state or the United States. You can do it that way. I'm going to show you a different way you can do it. Here's just Find a Grave on their homepage. I'm not signed in. I'm going to show you a few things. If you click on famous and then do search, it will show you famous people. I don't know what their definition of famous is. It's okay. It wasn't very helpful. I tried it just to look around. I probably went through 100 or more names until I found one that I was familiar with, and that was Hank Aaron, because it was alphabetical. So it wasn't really helpful to me. And just out of curiosity, cenotaph is where the headstone is in one place and the body's in another place. For instance, a soldier who gets killed in another country might be buried in that other country and they put a headstone in his hometown. So that would be a cenotaph. And sometimes you'll see that next to a name listed in a directory of a cemetery. So we're gonna minimize that, and I'm just gonna go over to browse. I'm not gonna put any names, any dates. By the way, you can choose a year born or died and choose how far on either side to look for it. We're not even gonna do that. We're just gonna come over here to browse, and let me clear to show you how I did this. So I clicked on North America and the United States and Virginia. I was just looking around. Actually, I want Vermont. I tried this earlier and I found a cemetery without any headstones listed, so I want to make sure I get to one that has one. So we're going to go to Addison County in Vermont. I don't know of anybody right away in Vermont that I'm related to. And then I'm just going to do a search. And here are all the people listed in alphabetical order. I can refine the search. I can do the same things I did on the front page. First, middle, last, more search options. But I'm just gonna kind of look through here and randomly click on one. See how it's loading some more. And there we go. All right, let's click on this one because I like the dates. It's not too far. It's not like in the 1700s or whatever. So I'm going to click on her. I'm going to bring that tab over so it's really close. And we're going to go find more options. This is a female. And her name, I can read her name right there. Ellen. You don't have to capitalize unless you're actually putting information, real information in. Like if you're adding a person, you want to capitalize, but it doesn't matter right now. I'm just going to put a C. We know that she was born in New York in 1856. They just want the year, not the whole date. So I'm gonna actually highlight the whole. Control C copies. So I'm gonna say this is where she was born. Control V, paste it in 1856. We know that she died in 1935. Okay, sometimes when you get on Find a Grave, it doesn't say where they died, just where they're buried. Don't assume that where they're buried is where they died. If you need to, you can click residence and assume that where they're buried, that they lived there once. But we do know where she died because it says right here that that's where she died. So in 1935. And we know the last name of her spouse, which was, oh, there's her middle. I got this wrong. So her last name is that, and her spouse's last name is that. And do a search. And she is not coming up. So the next thing I would do is I would go to Ancestry, to this advanced search on this side, and I would put Ellen and her birth year, 1856, I think, right? Essex, New York. Whoops. 1856 in Essex, New York, right there. And I'm going to say that she's a female. I can put in her death, which is Vermont in 1935. 1935 in Vermont. And we know that her spouse's last name was Barrow. Is that with an S or not with an S? It is with an S. Barrows. And then I'm going to do a search. And there's her actual Find a Grave right there. And there are her parents. And there's her spouse. And there's some children. And here's all this information that could be her. So if I wanted to, if I felt like she might be a relative, I would come over here to Family Tree and I would go back to the home page. It's not showing me. There we go. Recent right there. And I would go to the very bottom of recents and add an unconnected person and start putting her information in. And then you might find that she is related or not. I don't know that I'll do that because I don't know that I have any family in New York or Vermont. Maybe I will, and then it'll show you if you're related. But that's another way that you can find names to work on.